MonsterVerse's co-lead star, Kong, is set to face off against his greatest foe yet not named Godzilla, the Skar King. Kong's fought humanity, the Skullcrawlers, Warbats, and Godzilla knows what else on Skull Island and within the mysterious world known as the Hollow Earth. His battle against Godzilla proved he could hang with the big dogs of the Titan world, and that he was more than capable of taking on almost any enemy. But it's said that his upcoming war with Skar will challenge him the most, not just physically in 1v1 confrontations, but also spiritually and morally. As one of the more sentient Titan species in the MonsterVerse, the Kong's almost human-like nature will be explored and tested in the new empire, bringing us to this conclusion: Kong and the Skar King must fight to the death, and Kong must kill him. In this theory video, we will explore why this has to be, and why Kong can't do the Batman route here and let Skar live. But to get to our explanation on why Kong must end Skar's life, we first need to theorize as best as we can based on the trailers provided so far, how their full confrontation will play out. It appears Kong will be led back to Skar's kingdom by this new young ape Zuko. While we don't know their reasoning just yet, it does appear that Kong is simply in shock. This is the first time he would have ever seen another member of his kind, let alone a juvenile from his species. But we know these characters are fake and this is a movie, but we can feel some compassion for Kong here. Just imagine if you thought you were the only human in existence till one day this little 8-year-old kid comes stumbling out of the fog. It's likely Kong doesn't even understand that Zuko is a member of a clan of Kongs led by a tyrannical ruler, and it appears that he follows Zuko back not to save him, but simply out of curiosity. Could this be his family? Kong never expected that he would be led to a wasteland, where his kind suffers, and where the Skar King ruled with a bloody fist. To Kong, this all must be so confusing. He likely doesn't even want to comprehend that he's waited hundreds of years to see more of his kind, and when he finally does, everything's dark, sad, and not ever what he could have envisioned behind those soulful, emotional eyes. His only wish was not to be alone, and that lust for a family had guided him now to this place. I expect Kong to at first not fully see the full picture that the other Kongs are more or less slaves. The sheer sight of all of them is probably going to cloud his mind. That's why when Skar finally introduces himself in epic fashion, we see Kong not back away in fear like the others. As far as Kong knows, this is just another ape coming to check him out. I assume he doesn't know yet that Skar is evil. Now, between the time they first lock eyes and when their weapons finally clash, there will be a moment where Skar attempts to reason with Kong to join them, I imagine. Anyone in that sort of position is no fool, and Skar would see a big brute of a warrior like Kong to be a vital asset to his legion, as long as he kneels to his rule. A lot can be said for MonsterVerse Kong, but one thing he absolutely does not do is kneel to anyone or anything, regardless of their power. Skar, being the insane tyrant he's said to be, will react harshly to this. It's likely not the first time another Kong individual had challenged him, and like the others, Kong would be forced to bow or be killed. Kong's refusal to kneel must be made an example of. Now, we don't know how this fight will play out, but my guess is that while the Skar King's incredible fighting skills, technique, and his bone whip will no doubt startle and catch Kong off his guard at first, the TV spots have actually shown way too many times now that Skar is by no means more powerful than Kong. It appears like they will be equals, just with different fighting styles. Kong is more of a brutish fighter who can take a beating and keep coming forward with heavy haymakers backed by his incredibly muscular body, while Skar appears to be more precise, agile, fast, and flexible. Both body types are really good in a fight, but we can assume that once Kong starts to get a feeling for Skar's fighting style and technique, the fight might quickly turn in his favor thanks to his broader and thicker body. After inspecting the two Kong scenes in the trailers and promotional material, Skar's definitely in a lighter weight class than Kong. However, Skar knows he must not lose this fight, and will figure out a way to come out on top. His rule depended on it. He at this time has a lot more to fight for than Kong. If he lost this fight, he would lose everything, while Kong at this time is still likely in shock due to finding not just one but hundreds of others of his kind. And the first thing their leader wants to do is kill him, no doubt taking his head out of the game. Kong's a mighty warrior, but his greatest weakness is his big heart and his foolish nature to dive headfirst into any situation. And while I imagine that he will smack Skar around a good bit in their first fight, the cunning tyrant would devise a plan for Kong's failure, using his emotions likely against him, perhaps threatening Zuko. This will lead to Skar eventually coming out victorious in this first battle, because it's the only explanation for what comes next: the punishment of death. After offending Skar, challenging him and likely getting in a few good hits that no doubt put his power into question within the thoughts of the Kongs he ruled, there is no way that Skar would allow Kong to be left alive. Skar orders his goons to toss Kong into this large pit-like area, a gladiator-looking arena, a place where Kong and many before him were thrown into to be sacrificed to the Titan goddess herself, Shimo. A monster more threatening than any Kong had ever seen before, even Godzilla. We don't know how, but Kong somehow escapes Shimo's icy clutches, but not without catching a severe case of frostbite burns that crept all the way up his right arm. This is where we see Kong beaten, almost broken, laying in his own self-doubt. He dreamed his whole life to see family, and the first thing they do is try to feed him to a big monster. This very well may be the second worst day of Kong's life, second only to the day he's seen his parents killed right in front of him. But Kong doesn't give up, and this low time in his life will come to an end. With the help of his human friends, Kong will regain his composure. We know this is gonna happen. And he will understand the mission at hand. For his species to truly be free and a family, and for there to be peace, Skar must die. It would be the only way to ensure his evil reign would end. It's said that Skar represents the worst of us humans. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are from, or what politics you follow, we can all agree that too many of us in our species' history have been like Skar. Plain and simple, pieces of shit that only care about themselves and will destroy anything that gets in their way. Kong is said to represent the best of mankind. Most of us want to think we're Kong. Brave, honorable, stoic, and most importantly, kind-hearted. He represents the hero many of us have dreamt of being. And when their final battle commences, we know that only one will be left standing. This is a fight to the death. It has to be this way. In closing, it feels kinda silly to make this comparison, but Kong vs. Skar is a damn near carbon copy of an idea as Simba vs. Scar from Lion King. A powerful young stud character with a lot to prove and a bit of arrogance, but ultimately pure and good, against someone who may have been kind at once in their lives, but due to external factors had been shaped and molded to become this diabolical and insane ruler. A rule where only they could prosper while everyone else had to suffer. So Kong must do more than just defeat Skar. He has to kill him, and this will finally earn his title as King Kong. The idea of taking the life of another of your kind is one of the hardest things to come to terms with. And I think Kong may struggle with this concept as well. He's a big softy after all. The last thing he wants to do is kill another of his kind. Kongs shouldn't kill other Kongs. But Scar's no Kong. He's a monster. Alright everyone, this has been Jacob. I hope you enjoyed that theory video. This one was really fun to put together. If you like MonsterVerse theories, I got another one in the works, so make sure and stomp that subscribe button and hit the bell if you haven't already so you're up to date on when we upload. If you're new to Dangerville, hey, what's up? If you guys have been around for a long time now, thank you so much. You guys are really awesome. As always, everyone, I'll see you in the next one.